So, Matthew 7:9. Or which one of you, if he asks for bread, will give him a stone? I'm going to repeat that again. Matthew 7:9. Or which one of you, if he asks his son for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, verse 10, will give him a serpent? If you then know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask of him? Reason why I excise that phrase, who are evil, is because, specifically for this reason, we have this viewpoint in the church of total depravity, of we're worm, miserable, wretched sinners, and we don't know how to read that phrase with a full-orbed son mindset. Who's Jesus' audience? Jesus' audience is Jews. Jesus' audience is those who are not quite yet believers. They're listening to him preach evangelistically about the scripture, about the law. He's talking about consistency here. He's talking about receiving. He's talking about shooting straight. If you ask for bread, you get bread. If you say you're not going to behave in a certain pattern, then by Jimmy, you better not behave after that certain pattern if you're going to represent yourself in a certain way. It's not kind to others when you do not represent yourself a certain way. So the word for this morning, the word that the Lord specifically said, I was walking down the hallway and I heard Matthew 7:9. He gives us good things when we ask him. We're supposed to reflect that nature.
I think another related component to that is James 1:17 that, every good and perfect gift comes from the Father of lights. But because he gives us perfect gifts and he gives us good gifts, we're supposed to do the same to others.
Yeah.
When Jesus said the summary of the two biggest commands are to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and the different translations vary that, but also to love your neighbor, the people close to you, the people not close to you, everyone in the world, in some respect, from my perspective, because this may not be doctrinally correct, is our neighbor. He's wanting us to have a platform of love.
It's doctrinally correct. He puts the emphasis on those you hate.
Yeah.
But you're actually being completely correct in that.
And so we're supposed to treat others in a similar fashion the way he treated us. And you'll see that all throughout Scripture. It's a huge theme. What did Jesus say? Forgive others like I have forgiven you. Love others like I have loved you. And so his love was laid down his life. He laid down his life. Why? Because he loved us. He wanted us to have the opportunity to be reconciled to him, to have the opportunity to go to heaven and be reconciled with Father. That was what his love was all about. Same with the forgiveness. He forgave us a debt we could never repay. So there is no debt that someone has against us that we shouldn't forgive on this earth. None. So holding on forgiveness is absolutely unbiblical. And it will hurt you way more than it hurts the person you're being unforgiving towards.
Yeah.
So that whole theme just runs into the major vein of Scripture when you read it in context and the principles.
So if you ask for something, or you say you want something, or you say you don't want something, then have the gumption to be willing to be consistent with your decision. Oh, I don't want it, then you don't want it. So for example, whipped cream cheese and solid cream cheese. The only difference is air. You are responsible for finishing the one that we have that you don't care for and sharing that load so that you can get some of what you want, which would be the unwhipped cream cheese. So there's a win-win. We have to suffer through the one we don't want to get to the one we do want. How many times have we had to suffer through our vegetables so we can get to our dessert?
It's true.
If you ask for bread, you're going to get bread. If you're going to say that you don't want, I'm going to treat you as if you don't want. Which means you don't get to play with your food. Which means you get to be consistent. I'm going to treat you as if. When you represent yourself as being in one fashion, I'm going to respond to that in kind. If you understand that part of the process of having cream cheese means that sometimes the store runs out of a particular kind that you want, then what that means, in order to get the kind you want, we have to occasionally purchase the one that you don't like. We have to suffer for a season. And the affliction is for permanent? Is it permanent?
Nope.
Is
Temporary.
the victim spirit of powerlessness supposed to be permanent?
Not supposed to be.
It's supposed to be for a season. If I ask for bread, well, darn it, I'm going to get bread. He's good like that. And if I have to muscle through some cream cheese that I don't like to get the cream cheese that I do like, well, my brother's going to help me. My family's going to help me. We're going to climb this mountain together so that I can get to the thing that I like. The question here is one of consistency. The principle here is one of consistency. He's going after your desires, and he wants you to know that, hey, you might have to submit to some things you don't like. If I'm going to ask for bread, I'm going to get bread. I might have to engage in some testing before the bread happens, or whatever the case. There might be something that I have to go through. Eventually, I'm going to get the bread, though. If I know how to give you the things that you ask for, but there might be tests along the way because your character's not fully formed, or darn it, you're going to get the tests. And you're going to have an opportunity to go back around this mountain. I'm going to have the opportunity. If I'm supposed to have written a book, the Lord's going to allow me to be tested. It's like, okay, are you going to do what I've asked you to do? Are you going to be the person I've made you to be? Then write the bloody book.
Yeah, it's true.
Father the bloody tribe that I've put in front of you. Love on the wife and the children that I have given you.
Yep, and not just when they're doing the right thing, but when we screw up, we still gotta love each other. But it doesn't mean he doesn't discipline us when we don't do what he asks us to do, and it doesn't mean we don't discipline you guys when you don't do what we've asked you to do, because that's a biblical principle too.
I love you guys, and we have work to do. We have so much work to do. So much. Our responsibility is to be raised up. And in order to get what I'm responsible for, I have to sow in things that I want. Which might mean some pain. But if you're going to be stubborn and bullheaded and ignore the responsibility and the price that you have to pay to get what you want, then you could continue reaping destruction. If I want to reap the good crop, I have to put some work in and get some skin in the game. I have to walk with the kingdom dynamic of consistency, not hypocrisy.
Agreed.
So, gang, we bless you with understanding the concept of consistency that the Lord is talking about, and to receive from Him the good crop for sowing the good seed. We bless you with that in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach.